Someday he'll come along, the man I love, and he'll be big and strong, the man I love. And when he comes my way, I'll do my best to make him stay. I'm messing up with the words. It's a song that just came out. I've known it for years, but it's just now that I think I'm going to be using it for the show, for the opening tune. It sounds terrible because I don't have the accompaniment, so you're going to have to forgive me with this. Alright, this is like my George Michael look. Kind of George Michael does genderfuck, transgender. The earrings, the hair that's growing, and, you know, just the whole look. Let me get a Kleenex for my nose. It's starting to itch. Alright, so, as you can tell, I'm swapping out... Here you go. I'm swapping out all of the colors in the apartment for what? For pink. Pink is the new color. Alright, these are the pink beads that I'm going to be using. Some Swarovski crystals. Some sequin that goes to this. Right back here. You see the hairdress? They're gorgeous. Gorgeous. So today, you know, I always have like an introduction before I give a lecture in the day. But today, that's kind of my little intro, kind of like, you know, facade to get to let you see the iconic star image, the dramatist persona, the image identity that we're getting and we're picking up in politics. So, right, I put that here. It's kind of disgusting, isn't it? It's trash, isn't it? So I'll just go and put this up there. Why would I let it touch my skin, you know? So, oh no, I'm falling apart. It's on my pink. So today, what I wanted to discuss is a term called responsive politics. And I'll try not to be using my little presumptuous accents, what have you. Now, people say, well, responsive politics, it's a bit reactive politics. Reactive mind versus the responsive mind are completely different. Reactive is just like from off of the hook and just an immediate reaction and then manifesting what you need to manifest. Responsive is more, all right, let's take a couple steps back. So the work that we are providing at Social Alchemy Project Access Management in this YouTube channel, if you don't know me, my name is Tyler Lord Hamilton, is a responsiveness, okay, not the reactive mind. The reactive mind gets us in trouble. When we are going outside the limitations of a subculture, we want to, of course, work off of reactive mind because we're like breaking through, we're finding our people, and the first thing that you think negative on somebody because of what they stated is going to be a reactive comment, and it might be very mean. So as you are breaking through the matrix and letting the paradigm do some shifting because you become awake and you're living your life differently out of the closet. If your wives don't know whom I am and that you're in love with me and I'm helping you, tell them about me. Because I've been finding that most women out there are very cool. You know, if they have body piercings or if they have ink design art over their bodies, they're going to be okay with you being bi-curious and bisexual and what have you and questioning. First off, LGBTQ. You hear Q. Q does not refer to queer. A lot of people do. That's an argument. LGBTQ stands for questioning. LGBT, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and Q for questioning, not queer. You have a queer nation when you have LGBT right there. So you don't need LGBTQ for queer. You've already said queer by saying LGBT. And get educated on this, research it on YouTube, or research it online in some journal, some periodicals, whatever, blogs, on what queer theory is. And then you'll get an idea of what I'm talking about. Alright, I've been in school for nearly my whole life. And in between schooling, I've been a whore. Alright, and it's fine, you know, it's the Madonna whole culture, why not be a whore? But rewind. Stop. Rewind. stop, play. Shh. Okay, the rewind is that I'm talking about responsive politics. What is responsive politics? Responsive politics is what occurs after alternative media has been out there and you've been able to absorb and evaluate what the messages are, and the reactive mind from the public as you're opening elevated dialogue, elevated discourse, talks, conversations, symposiums, men panels, whatever. I'm talking to men, not talking to women. Talking from a masculinist theorem or masculinist theorist perspective, theory, like feminist theory, and I'm talking about, being a masculinist, opposed to a feminist. And this is theoretically based. I want you to look at your life and then come to me ready to respond, not reactive mind. I don't want the bullshit. Unless we're talking comedy and shock rock, be as reactive mind as you want, as you're improvising and you're doing some acting exercises, or if you're in a theater institute learning different methodologies, like, to help you understand script and things like this. So, in responsive politics having to do with men that need to come out of the closet, LGBTQ can handle itself. I deal with the transvestite. I deal with the man coming out of the closet after he's done his questioning, or maybe during his questioning, and we need to pick up LGBTQ as a pertinent area for him to be impacted by through Social Alchemy Project. But, once he's decided that he wants to be out of the closet and he's questioned, then we have the issue of responsive politics. How, as a man now living gay, leaving his wife, ditch the bitch, make the switch. I don't know if you have anger toward her, or you're sexist or misogynist. But once you have made the shift, okay, to being gay, right, and it's just a whistle in the park, according to a lot of celebrities that are very shock rock, like Boy George. But this is my George Michael look, but I'm not doing Boy George right now. But, okay, as responsive politics and having come out of the closet as you men, even if you're not coming out, let's assume that you are and you have, because you're dreaming to yourself that one day you will, and you want to know in that dream how wonderful it is. Well, I want you to take action. I want you to come out of the closet, because we have to discuss responsive politics. So get past your reactive mind, get out of your closet, take the risk of being alone, being single, having your wife trash you, whatever, in divorce court. You are out of the closet, men. I'm discussing this too. You have an opinion about the pedophiles in the gay community. You have opinions on the married men that are hooking up with gay men behind their wives' back. You have some moral compass, some ethicism. However, there is ethical relativity and moral relativism. So I'm not throwing you out and saying, you're getting it wrong. But responsive politics is where you already are able to read the room. And men, you've learned this from women. Women are hard to read, but yet they're good at reading the room. This is why a lot of men are choosing other men, because women play a mindfuck game on them, their heads, and they're emotionally tricky, according to Vogue, in one of the articles I read. Now, I'm not discussing nagging, bitch, control freak, insecure woman about her looks, needs to go spend money, withhold sex, must shop, must travel and do her parties in Las Vegas with her girls, more money, and perfectionism. Now, men may get money hard-ons, but women get money menstruation. Okay? Men are all coming all over the world because they're excited about what money's going to give them, so they're promoting this whole jack off of freedom social policy. Men want to get drained. Men want to, you have to be 18 years old or to watch this. 1, 2, 3. You must turn this off if you're 18. But men like punishment. Men like the cruelty that comes from women. So when men are fed up and they realize they have become oppressed and the women have walked all over them for what the women can get for their lifestyle as far as money, because the man brings home the bacon, he decides that in his reactive anger, he needs help. And so he seeks what? A male friend that might be able to console him and comfort him. Why are men so scared? Because the compromise of staying with your wife is bearing a huge expensive burden on you. So this is why men might turn over tricks with other guys. It's because they just want cock. This is why men are going to the gay man and getting their methamphetamines, or vice versa, because the straight man wants to lessen his inhibitions, his fear, and he wants to bear back. He wants to try doing it with a man with no condom, because there's no other way to explain having been victimized by an expensive cost of having a wife that is so bitchy to you that you have to leave the home daily to make money, and then you come home to her, and because of her perfectionism and the great house and the beautiful kids, she makes it worth your while to being a mind slave, being a sheeple in the corporate world of getting up in the morning, going to work to make money, go home, watch TV, go to sleep. Get up the next morning and do the same. Now, men and women both can agree to that routine, but I'm speaking to men in response of politics. Having one living in luxury is a pain in the ass when you have the ticket and you have to afford another person. Same thing with government. The people are in high elite positions that have bank. They don't want to take the sacrifice in helping the poor with entitlements and, food stamp program and things like this. If food stamps are taken away from the American people, we would have a third world country of white people walking around like Ethiopians with big stomachs because they're poor. Right, so that's stated. Get over your Republican biases of hating the poor. We're talking about responsive politics. And in responsive politics, you take a very non-biased approach and you study statistical database. This is where you rely on a social scientist, such as myself, so I can go ahead and give you any information that's intended and prepared for publication. Women have not allowed men to come out of the closets because women have a lot of power when it comes to the JJ and breasts and eyes and lips and makeup. Women are hot. So if men can't come out of the closet, but yet they reach a point where they do come out of the closet, then the discussion of responsive politics and gender politics and political homosexuality are able to understand men that want power, which is gaining their security back, and it's no longer robbed or thieved by women. Okay, men want to be self-preserved. They want humane life sustainability. They want the ethical, welcoming, collective consciousness of other male leaders in politics to sit down as a community organizer, such as myself or public administrator, to look at men and to see why are they hurting still, even though women are no longer in the picture. So what you have is, of course, you've heard the term walking wounded. And men are walking around as though they are still supporting the Me Too movement or the SARP movement. The Me Too movement is men coming together and saying they meet up with women because they are Me Too. Me Too, I'm man. Me Too, women, I go and support you against rape and domestic violence that men do to you. The YouTube. This is a Logitech cam. I need to probably get a new one. It's terrible. Sorry about the freezing. So men are running around on this whole advocacy for women against sexual assaults, and they need to recover and they need to provide prevention. Men are in, this is 2018, men are in a pit that's been set up for 2 decades for women's personal interests, to keep men in an advocacy movement for women. Women are not providing a Me Too movement or a sexual assault movement to help men become empowered as men that have been abused by women. That's a whole rare select social population online that you're going to discover is men as a select social population standing up against women after women have abused men, after women have made mockery of a men's endowments, their cock size. I've heard so many women say horrible things about men. I know women that have dumped their husbands because the man lost a job, and the man wasn't even left with her wedding ring. She went off to go whore. And I'm talking Newport Beach, I'm talking San Diego, I'm talking Santa Barbara, I'm talking San Luis Obispo, I'm talking LA. This is in California. So, what are responsive politics having to do with male sexuality? Has to do with what? Social justice education, what is fair societal for men to come out and talk about. That's the purpose of Social Alchemy Project Access Management, is that you can manage and you can access your own alchemy, your own change, it's self-governance. So I'm not here as your practitioner or your motivational accountability life coach with counseling alternatives to control you. Okay, I'm going to help you come out of the closet in our counseling sessions. But the fact is getting up in the middle of the night to piss because you have a hard-on erection for piss. You have a piss hard-on. And it's a pain in the ass, and you wish that you had a freaking catheter under a piss container that you hang on the side of your bed so you can fucking piss. And drop and hang your dick into the piss bucket. Like in a hospital, instead of having to, you know, going to the pharmacy to pick one up, you just use maybe a milk carton. So, you know, men are not even understood by women, even when they have to get up in the morning and take a piss. Understand that. Understand that you men that have been so hurting because of what women have done to exploit you, you know, you're no longer a fisherman for men. You're not trying to go catch the JJ at bars so you can hook them up with your male friends and pimp them out and make a little bit of money with your men friends. You know, that's done. That's over. You feel like you will be crying for the rest of your life, men, with a heavy heart, and then be thrown away by women in the world and just be let off to die. That is what happened to men. A lot. You are all here, men, because you are not all there. Okay? You are here in this video because you are not all over there. Okay? Eternity, heaven. And you have a woody, and you get from Viagra and you're a pill whore. Okay? You don't have to perform anymore for your wife and take supplements, chemicals in your body in order to get her off. You don't have to be enslaved to pills in order to keep your wife. If you can't keep your wife with a hard cock or an impotent penis, she's not worth it. I want men to come out and say, you know, I want to pursue men. Maybe men are not going to be so difficult. Maybe they're going to be chill. Right? And on the down low and pretty cool and pretty down to earth and not into the drama. This is why men are choosing bi curiosity and bisexuality, and they want to what? Ditch the bitch and make the switch. Now this is responsive politics, okay? What you do, tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock. When you get into bed and your body is tick-tocking and it has to ejaculate, I want you to think about the lies that you're giving back at home to your wife. Okay? If you're going to lie to her in a relationship, you're going to lie about your politics. So, coming out of the closet should be a direct cultural impact on your own viewpoint, frame of reference for responsive politics and how you vote. How is it always hanging? Okay, and that's your cock. How are you hanging? Is it short, shriveled, and always tucked to the left? No up and down or straight up? Well, you need Viagra. But I want you to know that there are men out there that have been through women to go ahead and be enslaved to Viagra, and still these women will cheat on them. So men are coming to men saying, I'm done with the Viagra. If you can't accept me for the way I hang, then, you know, you need to go cruise the streets for Tom Cruise. So I've been thinking about starting pardon me, it's kind of slipped. I'm thinking about starting a show called A Gay Man Cruising the Streets for Tom Cruise. It's just a fantasy. You see, men, when you are in a funk, you have to be funky together, right? When you're in a funk, you got to be funky together with your people, your gender, your sex, your male society, because they can hold you accountable, okay? The wife has you think she holds you accountable, and you are enslaved to her, and she gets away with isolating you, making you a separatist, and not having men friends. The woman has brainwashed you to work your ass off while you don't even have intimate friendships with men. You need to come to terms with that. I'm not calling you dada. I'm not calling you daddy. I'm not calling you poppy. But, you know, there is a gay altered dial-in that you can do on cock and culture, right? When you are scared, then you need to start producing new ideas that can prevent you from becoming vulnerable and weak, that have made you scared because you feel your wife has thieved you, has robbed you of happiness that you want as a man. When you do this as a leader, this is where we get into the response of politics. When you do that as a leader, that affects your career. It affects the way you stand by men that are poor. Now, when I'm talking about standing by men, I'm talking about rich, poor, homeless, a UCLA hot college student of age, of course, and anything else that you want to grapple with. Okay. When we, as masculinist theorists, discuss responsive politics, we also include the retarded man, the Down syndrome man, the man that lives with Asperger's, the schizophrenic, the poor, the rich, the stud, the Robert Redford, the Tom Cruise. Men, this is not about you going places where women are going to watch you and surveil you, because you don't want surveillance. But you need to be squilling for the feeling, guys. You need to allow yourself to squirm in your panties and enjoy your, you know, male sexuality, even if you are not squilling for the feeling. You at least need to talk to men that have come out of the closet on that, and they're helping other men come out of closets so they can be who they want. That's what you find in the video portrayal and the emotional dialogue and the original lyricism of me and my singing. If you haven't heard some of my concerts that I'm launching in Beverly Hills, Sweet Beverly. But the whole thing is to be out of the closet with panties and lace and ribbon and buttons and rhinestones if you want, and feather, boas, and hooker heels. I want honesty in your responsive politics, okay? At the end of the day, when you get past the reactive mind and now you're into responding to your life as a man, I want honesty, I want sincerity, I want intelligence, compassion, empathy, commitment-minded men that will allow their homosexualities to be entrusted, not to be shamed. You know, I've met women, and they're like telling me, I hate men wearing beards. You know, men grow hair on their face, and some men look very gorgeous with beards on their face or hair on their chest. And I want to encourage men, whether you look disgusting with hair on your face or your chest, let it grow in. Be a man. Don't listen to the women that are trying to nitpick and cut around who you really are as a man. And if you really stand there as a real man and not fall apart like I'm doing right now, you're going to be a special leader. And when men come to you and say, hey, how's your cock? They're going to know what you mean. You're going to know what they mean. They're going to talk about how's your ego, right? How's your cock and culture? How's your cock and culture theory with Tyler Lord Hamilton? You know, how is gay-manity, the humanistic vantage point of gay men, gay population? These words that you're picking up on Social Alchemy Project. So, if you are dripping with cock foreskin, or you've been circumcised, and you have a wife that says your cock is ugly, your cock is not a preference because it's not attractive due to you not cutting off your foreskin. You know, these are a lot of issues that are standing up against men from living healthy lives to pursue responsive politics. It's about negative, of course, abusive women preventing men from responsive politics. That's the problem that we have. Now, a lot of people might call me a good old-fashioned, firecracking, poppin' California cunt, because I'm standing up here. But listen, women, if you're listening in on this, because it's a very voyeuristic, pornographic, predatory, pedophilic society, and women are going to try to see how they can molest me, and they're going to check in on what I'm teaching men, and then they're going to slander me. They've done that before. Women, I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to men. Men, I understand, you bite your fingernails because your wife is demanding for you to be more perfect than what you are. You can't afford her lifestyle. You're scared that she's going to leave you. And your cock is way big enough that she's withholding sex from you. Because what? She's sucking her own thumb metaphorically. And she feels sorry for herself because she married you to find daddy. Now that's fine with fetish and fantasy talk, right? But in the scheme of things, the taboo and the burden of the forbidden, it's eating you up. And I want men to come out of the closet on this. Men, you may feel lost, but once you know you're not stepping any steps backward when you stand up to your wife. Listen, men, there's nothing to lose but only gain. Even if she leaves you and you lose her, the gain is that you are honest. And you don't have to cry anymore because you're out of the closet. You know, the Bible says that all things will be revealed. Pardon me, I had to put in my dentures. Can't talk. The Bible says that all things will be revealed and there's nothing new underneath the sun. And that means the way the woman metaphorically castrates and cuts off the cock and testicles of men. Many women might not be doing that, but there's a lot of women that have. And the women that don't do it and the women that are in denial about it need to start supporting men like you that are discussing this because it is happening. If your wife is not responsive, leave her. Leave her. There's plenty of women that tell women to leave their husbands, and there should be plenty of men that tell men to leave their wives. That's what you're going to find when I believe it's a true thing to state. Men, you come to me and you tell me that your wives have destroyed your miracles. But you will fight and stick in there. Give yourself 5 years, men. I'm going to be around. I'm patient. And it's the happiness that's important above all things. Above you being a slave. You putting your ego aside way too long, and yet after 20 years of the marriage, you realize you're not living your bliss, and you're not at your highest potential, nor have you even fulfilled your dream for maybe entering the entertainment industry, and that I can help you with. Men are scared. of comprehensive homelessness. All right? This is why they stay with their wives. Why ruin a good thing, right, men? But why have your women, your wives, ruined a good thing with you, and you're not seeing it? Maybe the good thing has been lost because of her. I want men to become awake of their own victim precipitation. The wife victimizes them, and the men come back with flowers and money and a new car and more food for the refrigerator and more luxuries. But the man is not getting what? Certain things met. And he's part of the losing people. Not just men or women, but he's one of the losing people in humanity. I've said this before in other lectures, because he allows his wife to bring value to him based on what? Zeros, based on how much money he brings back. $10, $100, $1,000, $1 million, etc. And men, are you loved for what you produce and the money that comes from it, or are you loved for just being responsive and mature about how you view your own politics, how you live your life daily, how you participate in helping other men that are afraid of homelessness or men that are homeless? You are alone, and your heart is afraid of being rejected for who you are as a gay man in search of love due to having people using you for money. All you want is to be touched, don't you, men? All you want when you come to men is to be touched and to take something good from that, right? So you need love. So you're forced by your own thinking and have no choice but to talk and pray to the dead because you're so pathetic. That will get you where you are, my friend, and it may help you celebrate your life because maybe your ancestors will knock some sense into you about you living your bliss and reaching your full destiny. When your heart breaks from another person, I don't want you to think that you want to ever see them again. I want you to just move forward, all right? It's 2018. People are very educated on boundaries. They're educated on therapy. They know exactly where they're coming from, and they know when they're lying to you. Take everybody at face value of being smart and or mentally ill. You might get further in your life. Men, have women shamed you? And they treat you like you're not cool and you're cuckoo? Does she give you a really weird eye and there's just this little attitude she has? And yet you're giving her everything you can in the spirit of love. This is why men are stepping away from the matrix, because she doesn't deserve to know him or you in the creation of your heart and living your bliss and dreams, set as an example for your what? Your public administrators, your community organizers, your politicians. This is responsive politics for you at the micro level, in your town or in your city or whatever. You don't want the woman to be so critical on you because it's damaged you for who you want to be. But the psyche is very resilient. You get away from this, men. You return back to your bliss and your dream. And you'll spend money on yourself and not spend it on a time with a woman or another man, okay, that does not want to know you. She uses you for getting her kids, her children. And as a husband, she uses it as a weapon against you because she says you don't spend enough time with the children. But you can. You do. You must. You will. and she's not showing much empathy to you having your career full-time to bring in the money so you both can have a better life together. When all you do is try to live from out of the care of your pain does not give you care. In the core of your pain, you ignite consciousness so that now you can care for yourself and accept the pain as something that is your own prophet telling you where you're going to be in the future if you don't put this woman to rest. I'm not talking about murdering her. I'm talking about filing divorce, separating from her. This is in lieu of responsive politics as a straight man that is being abused by his wife. Where is your pleasure, men? Where is your stardom? If she's too rich and powerful for your own good, and you're the one that created her. Because now you are separate and she is separate, and know poverty and depend on the simplicity of comfort and travels with other men to get the love that makes you know you never have to sleep alone in a street box. This is the metamorphoses that you're going to want, men. Because the ants and the bugs and the spiders do not judge you for being in the dark night of your soul, being angry at your wife, hating your wife, wanting to murder your wife. In the world, your mind goes to the streets because the bugs and the insects and the ants and the spiders will not judge you. And there you can control the abuse that was put upon you, and you could throw yourselves into trash, into the gutter. But really, you're letting another energy control you, and if you let that threaten to kill you in your innocence that you're trying to return back to in your dream, in your bliss, you have distorted and corrupt responsive politics. As long as you give yourself a few years of better shelter, of a better life, you reap what you sow, you take action, you'll find out in 10 years you're going to be in a place that you never thought you would be in, and you're going to be better off as a man. You think you don't have any choice because maybe you're mentally ill, alright? You're tired of the blaming game, and the facts are you fucked yourself over by making the wrong decisions with her or your money. If you can find that you are a taker, the people around you are not only the takers, but you are too, and you can see that in the soul and the life of a good society, you are their equal, and there's nothing for you to be ashamed about, and you need to really look at the political scope and your political participation. Then you won't just stay in the box to talk to the dead and the things of the streets. But your tears and you're wiping your own asshole after shooting loads of cum from out of your asshole because everybody's been barebacking you and ejaculating up your rear end to give you HIV and AIDS, metaphorically speaking, you are very lonely because you have trusted the wrong people. This is bad if you learn that you have to lie to people now. You need to be pretty honest in life if you want to enter responsive politics. Know who you are. After being honest, will people still judge you for being you? Well, that would be their delusion. That would be their ignorance for not seeing who you are as an aware, awake man with fame and fortune. These are things that I want men to really hold on to because of trauma. And that's going to be something that's always going to come out in my lectures, is how trauma has affected our men and how men must come forward as real men and to take a close look at what? Responsive politics. So in the event that you have listened to this entire lecture, I want to flash something to you. And that is my Ukrainian badge. You see the Ukrainian badge? I hope you can see it. It's just the way I want to be a firecracking, poppin' California cunt. Men, please stand with me in responsive politics. I'm willing to love, I'm willing to forgive, and I'm willing to get you into a treatment plan so you can live your bliss in your social transformation, your own alchemy, where you can manage and access your own self-governance. And you can look at social justice and democracy promotion without force and start really investing in men that are looking up to you, because people watch. People have an eye on you. I don't know where you're coming from in society. I don't know what your status marker is, if you drive a Mercedes, but whatever, people are always watching. And I want you people, you men, to just be so cognizant of your responsive politics and the mind frame that you need to do in order to check in on your responsive politics. God bless you. I love you. Danke schön.